So as I mentioned in the last lecture, picking the right product to sell is extremely important in the success of your online business. And so today we're going to talk about how to brainstorm possible niches because the number one factor for people not getting started is not knowing what to sell. And so I'm going to show you how to brainstorm possible niches today. Okay, so first off, if you're kind of brand new to e-commerce, I generally recommend this way of thinking. So you want to start out by picking 3 categories of items that you want to sell. So pick one type of product that you're passionate about, pick one type of product that you know a lot about, and finally pick a product that you know very little about or something just completely random and off the wall. Okay, and then what I found is 9 times out of 10, sellers have had the most success with number 3 above because a lot of times people come into this class with preconceived notions of what they want to sell, and oftentimes those preconceived notions are for products that are either too competitive or don't have enough demand. And so what's funny is I've been running this class for quite a while now, and the first thing that comes to mind is usually very commonplace and not going to work out for your online store. Okay, and so the first way I'm going to show you how to find a niche is by looking for relevant forums. Okay, and so what you want to do is you want to look for forums within the category that you're thinking of, and then look for people using very key phrases in their searches, like trying to find, I need advice about, I hate it when, I need help with, I'm looking for. Now, if you search for these keyword phrases within the forums, oftentimes you can find hidden gems for ideas of what you want to sell. And the way you do this is you can actually use Google. So you can use Google to find related forums by typing in forum : and then the niche and then the specific term that you're looking for. And so early on with our business, we did this all the time in the wedding forums to figure out what people were looking for in the wedding industry. And I'll just give you guys a quick demo on how this works here. So for example, I typed in here forum weddings and then trying to find. And the first result here was someone actually trying to find golden panties. Now, this might not be the best example, but people do look on the forums to find out certain things that they're looking for that they can't find. And incidentally, there was a student in this class who found a niche exactly this way. They ended up selling boat covers by going on the boating forums. They figured out a lot of these people with their boats were looking to cover their boats, and there were a bunch of these irregular sizes and covers that weren't working. So they decided to sell boat covers, and they actually ended up making all their early sales just marketing to people on the boating forums. Okay, so there's a success story right there for you. Now, another way to brainstorm products to sell online is through Etsy. And the reason for that is because on Etsy, every single Etsy transaction is freely available online. You can figure out how much a person is making on a monthly basis. And what the best part about Etsy is, most of the Etsy items are unbranded, and you can kind of get an idea of what's selling well and what's not. And most people on Etsy do not have their own online store, and they're not mass producing anything, which can be an opportunity if you can find a set of profitable products to sell and have manufactured overseas. Okay, and so I'm just going to give you a quick example now of Etsy. So I just typed in wedding handkerchiefs here in Etsy, and I'm just going to click on the first result here. And the way you get sales data is you click on the store name, you kind of scroll down, and then you look here. And this person has had 1,336 sales. And if you click on this link here, it'll tell you all the products that sold. And if you click further, you can figure out how much those products sold for. And by monitoring this number of sales, you can get an idea of how many sales that a person makes on a monthly basis with Etsy. Now, another great place to look for product ideas and get an idea of what's selling is on eBay. Now, like Etsy, every single eBay transaction is freely available online, and you look everything up really easily and figure out exactly how much someone is making online selling a particular product. There's also a site called Terapeak, which I'll give you a brief demo on in a little bit, that nicely compiles all this information for you, and Terapeak actually has a free 7-day trial. Terapeak will basically tell you what categories of goods are selling particularly well, and they'll give you ideas of products that are selling well of a certain niche that you might want to pursue. So I'm just going to give you a quick demo of eBay first, followed by Terapeak. Okay, and so this is eBay here, and I've already went ahead and typed in a search for handkerchiefs. And to kind of figure out what is selling and what's not, you just scroll down the left-hand column, and then you click on either completed listings or sold listings. Now, if you want to get an idea of which auctions are not completing and which ones are selling, you click on completed listings. okay, which will just kind of give you an idea of what's selling and what's not completing. Okay, and as a result here, you can see that you get the exact selling price and you get pictures of exactly what's selling on eBay. Now, as you can imagine, it might be a little bit tedious to go through some of these auctions manually to figure out what's selling. So there's actually this tool that I highly recommend. It's called TerraPeak. TerraPeak scrapes all the eBay listings and collates it nicely for you to do research. And so here's just a really quick demo. Later on in the course, I have a more complete demo, but here's just a brief demo. So what's cool about TerraPeak is you can do some in-depth research here. You can have TerraPeak tell you which categories are super hot. And what's nice about this is it actually categorizes everything for you by color. So anything that's red is a very popular item. So just as an example, I'm just going to click on dog supplies here. And shampooing and washing. Okay, and so here's what's cool. You can actually go through TerraPeak and look up the best-selling titles in that particular category that you're researching. So if I click on this button, TerraPeak will tell me how many listings there were and what the sell-through rate was, how many sales there were for that particular item, and you can actually dig deep into a lot of these items. So, and again, this isn't going to be meant to be an in-depth TerraPeak tutorial because there's another video for that, but you can actually get stats like how much it sold in the last 30 days. So if I choose, let's see, 30 days here, so in this case, I'm looking at Flee Away for cats and dogs over a 30-day period, and this sold $280 worth last month. And another key attribute that you want to look for is this sell-through rate, because TerraPeak will tell you the likelihood that something's going to sell once there's an auction launched on eBay. Okay, so TerraPeak is a very valuable tool, which I highly recommend that you at least explore. And then finally, you can look on Amazon to figure out what's selling and what's not. Amazon always publishes their best sellers across different categories on their site. And if you want to comb through these bestseller lists, you can find out what's hot. Here's the URL of the bestseller. This list is updated hourly, and sometimes you can find hidden gems for products that aren't represented well online. But once again, as you can imagine, doing that is quite tedious as well. So for doing research on Amazon, I recommend this tool called Jungle Scout. I'll just give you a brief demo of that tool right now. Okay, so Jungle Scout actually has two different tools. One version of Jungle Scout is actually an app that is a companion to the Chrome browser, and that'll tell you what every single product on the front page of Amazon is selling for. Okay, so for example, here I just did a quick search for yoga mats, and by clicking on the Jungle Scout button here, it's telling me that that first yoga mat sells $63,000 worth of revenue every single month. And it'll tell you what the revenue numbers are for every single product on that particular page that you're looking at on Amazon. Now, this is useful for a variety of reasons, and I'll go over some of the guidelines for finding products on Amazon in a subsequent video. But basically, you can choose the demand by looking at the revenue, and then you can look at the competition based on the number of reviews that that particular item has on Amazon. This is extremely powerful. Another great companion tool that Jungle Scout provides is what is called the web app. Okay, and so let's say I want to sell something within certain guidelines. I can type in the guidelines of the product I'm looking for, and then Jungle Scout will scour Amazon and tell me what those products, how those products are selling, and how much they're making online, and how competitive they are. So for example, if I'm looking for pet supplies that sell for at least 15 bucks, estimated revenues of at least $5,000 every single month, less than 500 reviews, and if I click on Filter Database, out will come a list of items that follow that criteria. Now, as you can imagine, that's very powerful because even if you don't have any idea of what you want to sell, you can have Jungle Scout tell you what's hot or what's not that competitive based on a very specific criteria. Okay, and so those are just some of the main ways to brainstorm products online. Again, I recommend that you start out with stuff that you're knowledgeable about or stuff that's hot, and then just pick a random off-the-wall type of niche that you have no idea about and just start looking there. Use these tools to figure out or to help you brainstorm different products that potentially might work. And remember, with tools like TerraPeak and Jungle Scout and Etsy, you have actual sales numbers so that you can figure out exactly how much you could potentially make by selling a particular item online. And as you are looking for products, make sure you come up with a comprehensive list of keyword phrases that describe the products that you want to sell online. Because ultimately, you're going to want to create your own branded website. And a lot of times, ranking your own website has to do with picking the right keywords to go for so that you get business off of Google search as well. So jot down several different permutations for these words. Try to be as specific as possible with your keywords. And in the next lesson, I'll show you how to use some of these keyword terms and use this search data to estimate the amount of revenue you can make with your product idea on your own website. Okay, and so here's some just helpful tips as you are thinking about some of these keyword phrases. Put a different spin on an existing product with these keywords. So for example, we sell wedding handkerchiefs on our site, but these exact handkerchiefs can be repurposed for other different ways as well. So instead of just hankies, we also sell personalized hankies, memorial hankies, baptism hankies. Be as specific as possible, but be open to different markets with your keywords to kind of expand your reach of your online store. So that's all I had for this lecture. Hope you guys enjoyed it.